Hello again, friends. I'm ReRe, and this is Exploration Crochet, part of the Yarn Over Hook Network. Growing up in New Mexico, when summer came to an end, I started looking forward to three things. One, the smell of roasting green chili. Two, the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta. And three, the New Mexico State Fair. I loved going to the fair. As a kid, I looked forward to the rides and the food, and as an adult, I looked forward to the exhibit halls and the food. Today, we're going to head on down to the fairgrounds, and together we're going to take a walk through the exhibition halls, where crochet has held its own alongside giant pumpkins and prize winning quilts for more than 170 years. County fairs, state fairs, and even world fairs have played a role in shaping how crochet is seen, judged, and celebrated. Crochet's story at the fairgrounds is one of evolution. From Victorian lace collars to amigurumi dragons, from fancy work categories to full-fledged divisions. So, grab your all-day pass and a good pair of walking shoes. Step right up. We're headed to the fair. By the 1850s, crochet was starting to make a name for itself at fairs across the United States. The Ohio State Agricultural Society's 1857 Fair Book, for example, listed crochet collars under Class 26, Fancy Needlework, where judges looked for even stitches, fine thread, and spotless white pieces. Typical winners included Irish crochet lace collars with roses and shamrocks, dainty cuffs and edgings, christening sets, and sprawling white bedspreads, all admired for their neatness and lace-like charm. In these early days, crochet often took inspiration from lace as it worked to earn its place along long-established favorites like knitting, embroidery, and bobbin lace. Precision and patience were the name of the game, and every tiny perfect loop helped the argument that crochet belonged among the finest of the needle arts. Crochet didn't just stay in counties. By the late 19th century, it was stepping onto the world stage, quite literally. At the 1893 World's Columbian Exposition, also known as the Chicago World's Fair, visitors entered a dazzling showcase of progress and possibility. Electric lights powered by Westinghouse's alternating current, Nikola Tesla conducted demonstrations, the very first Ferris wheel spun high above the crowds, and new treats like Cracker Jack, cream of wheat, and juicy fruit gum made their delicious debut. It even had a nice midway plaisance, giving us the term midway to describe the area of a carnival where sideshows were located, with its exotic dancers and carnival rides and souvenirs. It was a first of its kind cultural mashup. It included music with Scott Joplin and introduced fairgoers to belly dancing, then called the Hoochie Coochie. The vibrant international pavilions brought the world to Chicago's doorstep. Suffice to say, there were a lot of firsts at this fair. And I will add, not everything was great, but if you have a minute, it is definitely worth the dive. And amid all this spectacle, the Woman's Building, a celebration of women's creativity, intellect, and artistry. Designed by Sophia Hayden, one of America's first female architects, it displayed fine art, literature, and exquisite handwork from women around the globe. Behind glass cases, crochet gleamed under the new electric light. Irish lace collars and edging, christening sets with motifs so delicate. These weren't mere decorations. They were declarations of skill and imagination. By the turn of the 20th century, the same stitches once worked in kitchens just 70 years prior now stood shoulder to shoulder with other global textile traditions, establishing crochet as both an art form and a symbol of women's creative power. Fairs have long been a showcase for young makers, and crochet found a lasting home there thanks to youth programs like 4-H and Girl Scouts. Early 20th century 4-H records encouraged girls to enter crochet work under domestic arts, and by mid century, county and state fairs across the U.S. offered specific youth classes in heritage and fiber arts. Generations of young crafters learned to follow patterns, finish projects, and proudly display their work at local fairs. In Girl Scouts, the Senior Textile Artist Badge invites scouts to select a textile art, such as embroidery, quilting, knitting, or crochet, and complete a finished piece, many of which went straight from troop meetings to fair showcases. And I can add, when I was a brownie, the woman who taught me to crochet was my first Girl Scout leader. Thanks to these programs, crochet never disappeared from the fairgrounds. It grew, one generation of makers at a time. So, what sorts of things won ribbons, you may ask? In the Victorian era, prize winning crochet meant precision and purity. Irish lace collars, crisp white doilies, christening sets, and sprawling bedspreads, all judged for neatness, fineness, and faithful imitation of lace traditions. And let's not forget the antimacassar. Okay, all right. I need to pause and say that one of the greatest things about doing these podcasts is the research involved. Like, who knew this thing had a specific name tied to its specific purpose? How about, that dainty crocheted cloth draped over the back of a chair? We've all seen them in Victorian and Edwardian pictures. Well, it was developed to protect the furniture from macassar oil, an extremely popular 19th century hair pomade. And according to Piecework magazine, these little lace shields, the anti-macassar, were the unsung heroes of Victorian upholstery. But I digress. Let's go on. Today's winners look very different. Modern fairs celebrate creativity and range, colorwork blankets, sculptural amigurumi, intricate lace shawls, and wearable art that blends fibers and imagination. Judging now rewards originality, design, and presentation as much as technical skill. At the State Fair of Texas, for instance, crafters can enter more than 1,100 categories across 14 arts and craft contests, with crochet featured in needlework and sewing, and afghans, rugs, quilts, and bedspreads. Entry fees range from just $3 to $5, keeping things friendly and accessible. From perfectly even stitches to most original concept, crochet has evolved from imitation to innovation. Still stitched with pride, but now with a voice all its own. If you want to see some really cool prize-winning amigurumi, please check out the work of crochet friend Alexis Cavros. Her 2024 Los Angeles County Fair entry won first place and the Judges Award of Merit, and her 2025 entry won first place and Best in Division. I'll leave the link to her site, Remy the Crafty Hedgehog, in the description. And fairs weren't the only place to win crochet glory. Yarn companies and magazines joined the competition too. In 1923, Flesher Yarns launched a national contest with over $11,000 in prizes, $2,000 going to first place, a small fortune at the time. It drew thousands of entries and plenty of crochet buzz. By mid-century, magazines like Women's Day and Better Home and Gardens turned fairground favorites into national trends with anthologies of prize-winning Afghans. Then came the 1990s, when Leisure Arts and Crochet with Heart revived the tradition through glossy booklets like Contest Favorites, Mile a Minute Afghans. These contests didn't just hand out ribbons, they shaped crochet's evolution, inspiring bright color work, bold motifs, and eye-catching stitches to transform the humble Afghan into a showstopper. So thanks for spending time with me at one of my favorite places. What makes crochet so perfect for fair competition? The same thing that makes it perfect as a craft. Versatility. One hook, one strand, infinite possibilities. At the fair, crochet bridges tradition and innovation, from the lace collars of the 1850s to the amigurumi still lifes of today. It invites kids in 4-H and Scouting to carry the craft forward and turns everyday makers into prize winners. Walk through any exhibit hall and you'll see more than stitches behind glass. You'll see stories of creativity, patience, and joy. If you want to learn more about who and what was winning way back when, including images of the winners of the 1955 National Crochet Contest, please check out my accompanying blog. I'll leave the link in the description. So the next time you spot a blue ribbon on a crocheted afghan or a tiny amigurumi pumpkin, remember, you're not just looking at a project. You're seeing crochet's 170-year journey through the heart of the fairgrounds. Do you have a fair memory or adventure? Share it with us at yarnoverhook.com. We'd love to hear it. Your stitches are part of the story. This has been ReRe. Thanks for listening.